guys, welcome back to my channel. Simone here. So today I'm going to be doing a current favourites video, and this is going to be a little bit different to my previous favourites videos. Basically, I didn't have enough favourites from this specific month to film, so I thought what I would do instead is talk about my current favourites. So I'm going to split this into 4 sections. I'm going to have movie, TV shows, YouTubers and books, and I'm going to talk about my top 3 favourites of each of those things at this moment in time. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk about my top 3 movies that I've watched this month, and I'll be honest with you, they're all from Netflix. I love Netflix, I have for a long time, and to be honest, that's pretty much all I watch. If I'm watching like TV or films, that's generally on there. 2 of these are actually documentary style, and 1 is just a film. So I will start with the ordinary film, and that is Chalet Girl. This is a film, I think I've watched this before, like a long time ago. It was quite an old film, and I literally looked up on like Google or something, like best Netflix films to watch, and it was one of the ones that came up, and I thought, I can't remember if I've seen it, and if I have, I can't remember what happened. So I put it on, and it's just light-hearted, fun, like enjoyable. It's got, I can't think what his name is. The guy who plays Chuck in Gossip Girl, I can't remember what his name is in real life, but he's in it, and so is the girl from the movie about Stephen Hawking. I'll link it somewhere on the screen, the 2 names. But basically, this film was brilliant. It's about a girl who is a professional skateboarder, and her mum and dad always came to the sidelines and cheered her on. And then her mum dies in a car accident, and so she gives it all up and basically looks after her dad and gets a job in like a burger joint, I think. Then she gets the opportunity to work as a chalet girl in a ski resort, but it means that she has to leave her dad for 6 months. So she kind of like arranges everything, gets him all ready to be able to live by himself for 6 months, and then she moves to this chalet place that she meets these people that are from completely different backgrounds to her. And it's great. It's a really enjoyable film. It's not like, you don't have to think about it too much, which I think is great. Like, it's one of those things that you can just put on and just have a really good time watching it. All the characters are funny, and it just makes me laugh, and it's brilliant. So it's also got some sport in there, which is always good. That's one of my top 3 at the moment. So the other 2, like I said, are both documentary style. I really enjoy watching documentaries, and I think Netflix does them particularly well. Even if they don't personally make them, I think they do them well in terms of they pick the good ones to have on there. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a documentary called Am Jane Doe. This is about a number of girls who have been essentially sold on this website, and they are raped and used by different people who buy them on this website. And basically the parents of these girls are trying to get the people responsible and stop this from happening again. Unfortunately, although they can get the person who put the ad on this website, the website itself, Backpage.com, is actually immune to liability because it's not their advert that's on the website. However, this is what they're trying to change. The people who are bringing this lawsuit, they're trying to change this by making it their responsibility to stop these adverts, basically. This was really interesting. This is something that I didn't really know went on. I know, obviously, I've heard a lot about young children being sold and the sex slaves and things like that, but I didn't know that this was happening still in America, and that such a big corporation was kind of involved in it, and that they were getting away with it. So I really struggled to understand how anyone could, like how these judges as well could like find for them. I just thought they're getting around this because of this one law that was not made for that purpose. It's the law where basically if something is put up on their website and they didn't do it, it's not their responsibility. But I was just like, that's not what the freedom of the press was for. Like, it was for something completely different, and they're just using it so that they're not in trouble. And anyway, it was really interesting. Again, I'll link these below so you can go and check them out if you want to. And then the third one that I watched this month that I really loved was Louis Theroux's A Different Brain. Now, I've never really watched a Louis Theroux documentary. I've heard a lot about him. I kind of thought he was something to do. He did like war documentaries. I don't know why I thought that. I think that's just something that I made up in my head probably. He does a range of different documentaries with different topics, and the one that I watched, like I said, was called A Different Brain, and it was basically him talking to people who have brain injuries and the people around them as well. And it was about how they cope with it and how it changes them, and it was really eye-opening for me. When I was about 13, I want to say, I think I might have been a little bit older, I'm not sure, but basically I had a brain virus for 6 months, and so I was completely not in control of my brain, and my brain wasn't telling my body what to do, and so it was really scary. And to watch this, it did open my eyes and make me feel very grateful that it hadn't happened for me that way. Like, it didn't stay with me. It was something that was a virus, so it did go away, which is, I mean, it was terrifying at the time, obviously, and these people are going through this constantly, knowing that unfortunately this is something that's going to happen to them for the rest of their lives. So yeah, it was really interesting to watch. Again, I would definitely recommend it, but also really, really sad at the same time. And I would definitely watch more Louis Theroux documentaries, because I do think that he was really sensitive with it, but he managed to get the best out of the people and kind of found out a lot of interesting information, so I think that I would definitely watch something like that again. That is my favourite movies currently. Now I'm going to talk about my favourite TV shows, and I'll be honest, I've watched quite a lot of different TV shows this month. I've been quite exploratory, I think that's the word. I've been trying lots of things that I wouldn't necessarily have tried, or I've been getting recommendations from people, which has been really exciting. The first one I tried, basically on the top of the Netflix page, it shows you like something that's just come out, or a new thing that they kind of want to advertise to you, and they were advertising season 5 of House of Cards, which I was kind of like, obviously I wasn't going to watch season 5, I've not seen the rest. But then I thought, I actually really loved Designated Survivor. That was on, I watched that like a few months ago, and House of Cards has kind of a similar premise, sort of. Basically, Designated Survivor is a political thing about the US, and this is the similar thing. However, Designated Survivor was kind of the good side of it, and then House of Cards is about the kind of power plays and the potential evil side of the US political system, which, to be honest, these days it would not surprise me if some of this stuff actually happened, particularly now. It's really interesting. I haven't watched the whole first season yet, so I can't say any more about it really, but I really love it. I think I love the character of Zoe in it. I've always liked the lady that plays her. Again, I obviously can't remember who she is, but she's really good in American Horror Story as well, so yeah, I really like her, so I'm excited to continue on with this series. The next one is another documentary style, which funnily enough, I think I said before, I do like documentaries, and there is definitely a theme going through this, and it's The Keepers. Again, this was one that came up on the top of my Netflix page to tell me that I might like it, and I am really enjoying it. I think I'm on episode 4 at the moment, and there's 7 parts, and basically this follows the town of Keogh, where a nun was murdered, and basically she was murdered because she was going to talk about how some of the girls in this local school were being raped and abused by one of the pastors there, and to this day it's still been like covered up, and apparently there was, you know, there was police officers involved and other men involved, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it, because they still have never arrested anyone for Sister Kathy's murder, which is awful, and unfortunately it's something that, you know, has actually happened. And so watching it's really interesting, but it's also really sad to hear the kind of first-hand accounts of these girls. Obviously they're not girls anymore, because this was in the 60s, sort of talking about the things they went through and things that happened to them, and just how awful it was for them and how kind of scared they were. So it's really sad to watch, but it's also really interesting, and I really hope that they find the person that did it and they sort of pull down the conspiracy. And on a much lighter note, the last TV series that I want to talk about is actually one that was mentioned by Brogan Tate XO in one of her vlogs, which I'll try and find a link below. And it's called Cheer Squad, and it's a kind of trash TV sort of thing, but really endearing and lovely. And it's basically about this team of cheerleaders from Canada who are going to the World Championships, and it's like a 10-episode series, and it sort of goes through their friendships and their trust and the things that they do alongside cheerleading, and the different injuries that they get as well. It's really amazing. It's wonderfully like filmed. Like, it's really lovely to see how different things happen and the different dynamics of the different people that are in the team, and also the lady who runs the team. I loved it. I think it was definitely a good recommendation by Brogan, and if you like that sort of thing, I think you'll really enjoy it. So yeah, it's a definite recommendation from me. Then I'll talk about my top 3 books currently, and basically what I've done is I've picked the last 3 books that I gave 5 stars to. One of them I have mentioned many times recently. In fact, it was in my May reading wrap up, so you've probably seen it and I've talked about it a lot. But it is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I absolutely adored this book. Again, I didn't think this was a book that I was going to enjoy very much because I'm not really a fantasy person. I absolutely loved this. This was fantastic. It's about these 6 characters who are kind of criminals of some description, and they have to pull off this heist where they have to rescue this person from the ice court, and they have to then survive it. And it's brilliantly written. I think Leigh Bardugo is an amazing writer, and I cannot wait to read the next one. The second one is a book that I read at the beginning of June, and that was The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson, which is the first openly transgender book that I've read. I've read one before, but again, I think I mentioned in my this in my summer TBR, that I have not read a book that I could talk about that's got transgender characters in, because the one I've read is a spoiler. The transgender part of it is a spoiler. This is about a character named David who was born in a male body, but longs to be a girl and identifies as a girl. He feels like a girl inside. And then one day he's being bullied in the school cafeteria, and this other boy named Leo stands up for him. And then it's about this relationship between the two of them and how they move forward, and there is secrets, and things don't keep secret for very long. It's really well written. It's such an important storyline, and I really enjoyed this. Also, I love this cover. I think it's really interesting. And I would definitely read more by Lisa Williamson. And then finally, the Beast book that I read in June, which I loved, but my goodness me, it took me a long time to read. That is Stephen King's Under the Dome. I loved this book. There's probably over 100 characters in this, and you're meant to know who all of them are. And to be honest, it wasn't that difficult to keep up, although there is a little key in the front as well to tell you who most of them are. This basically is about this town called Chester's Mill, where this big dome has just sort of arrived and appeared, and it means that nobody can get in or out, and nothing can get in or out. And it's, you know, their supplies are dwindling. It's about town politics. It's so interesting. I really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to continue on with Stephen King's books because I think he's amazing. And literally, this is the 3rd book I've read, and I think I've given them all 5 stars now. So roll on the next one. And then the final section is YouTubers, and I have really been enjoying watching YouTube recently, but there have been 3 channels that I have been loving more than most. And the first is In the Fro. Now, I've watched In the Fro's videos for a really long time. Victoria is the lady who runs the channel, and she is beautiful. She does like high-end hauls. She's very into her designers. I'm clearly not that kind of person. Like, I don't have the means or the kind of want to, but I love to watch it through her anyway. She's also recently started doing vlogs, which I've really loved. She did a vlog about just after the Manchester attacks, and it was really endearing and just very emotional to watch it, because she's from Manchester, and so obviously this is a place that she would normally have gone, and it's such a horrible, terrible thing that happened. And so watching her talking about it and kind of getting emotional about it was really, really difficult to watch, but also really endearing, like I said. I literally adore her vlogs. I think that her videos are brilliant. She puts so much effort into them, and I just really admire her. The next YouTuber that I've been watching is actually a Booktube channel, and that is Reading Realm. I discovered her channel probably about 3 months ago. It's a girl named Ish, and I think her kind of videos are just so like therapeutic to watch. Like, I just sit down and I sort of forget what's going on around me, because I'm so like intrigued. She always has bright coloured hair, whether it's pink or blue or green. Like, she's always got some really cool hair. She's just got a snake and a leopard gecko, which I didn't think I was gonna like want to watch the videos of, but because it's her channel I watched the videos, and her leopard gecko is the cutest thing I've ever seen, honestly. It's called Lulu. It's adorable, and yeah, I will continue watching her videos because I think they're great, and she always has amazing content as well, which is fantastic. And then the final one, now this is going to seem a little bit biased because this person is my boyfriend, but I'll be honest with you, even if he wasn't, I think I'd watch his videos. I don't really watch gaming videos, but basically AJ, my boyfriend, has a channel called Artsexual, and it's fantastic. He's really got into it recently. He did it for a while, and then he had, unfortunately, a really bad bike accident, which has just caused him a lot of like physical issues in terms of his hand and things, and he's just not really been in the right place for it. But do you know what? I'm really proud of him. He's really put up some really good like videos recently. I have watched all of his series. He does loads of different types, and he's really consistent now. Like, he has a good schedule, and he's always bringing out really good stuff. Like I said, I'm so proud of him. And AJ, if you're watching, I love you very much. And yeah, so if you could all check him out, I always link his links in the bottom of my description box anyway, but I will link them again obviously, so please check him out because I know he would really appreciate that. And that is the end of this video. That's all my favourites at the moment. So give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below who your favourite YouTubers are to watch, because I always am interested to find out and get any recommendations. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.